You buy the ergonomic chair. You mount the ultra-wide monitor. You place the perfect desk plant. But within a single week, the cables multiply, the screen flickers, and your daily workflow grinds to a complete halt. We spend thousands of dollars optimizing the things we can see, but the true bottleneck for productivity in 2026 lies in the systems we ignore, your invisible infrastructure. This infrastructure is built on two pillars. The first is data connectivity and power delivery at the desk level, the central hub tying your hardware together. The second pillar is the acoustic environment. It is how the physical room manages and absorbs the sound you generate and the noise trying to get in. When you ignore your data infrastructure, you experience constant micro-frictions. Your budget USB hub overheats mid-meeting, or your 4K monitor spontaneously drops its connection because the bandwidth is choked. When you ignore your acoustic infrastructure, the friction is psychological. Working in a highly reflective, echoing room with poor sound isolation actively generates cognitive fatigue over an 8-hour day. This flowchart maps the source of that daily workspace friction. You either pay the upfront cost for premium infrastructure, or you pay a daily tax in technical and cognitive drag. Look at the data and device overload branch. Forcing power, multiple peripherals, and high-resolution displays through a single underpowered bottleneck inevitably leads to system failure. On the sensory and focus side, poor room reverberation means every sound wave is bouncing off hard surfaces. Your brain has to actively filter that noise, which spikes your cognitive load. True workspace optimization requires treating data bandwidth and sound management as equal foundational pillars of your office, rather than technical afterthoughts. This schematic shows a standard USB-C hub. For budget-conscious workers, this is the baseline connectivity standard. It provides just enough ports for a mouse, a keyboard, and a single 4K display, all at a highly accessible price point. The hidden trade-off is total bandwidth. A standard USB-C connection simply lacks the data capacity required to run dual 4K monitors at high refresh rates. Push a standard dock past those bandwidth limits, and the internal components begin to heat throttle. That is what causes your screen to blink black or your webcam to freeze. The 2026 premium alternative is the Thunderbolt 4 dock, using devices like the CalDigit TS4 as the benchmark. Thunderbolt 4 is a hardware interface standard developed by Intel that guarantees ultra-high bandwidth data, video, and power over a single connection. This matrix compares the protocols. The standard USB-C pipe congests and turns red under heavy load, while the wider Thunderbolt 4 pipe flows without friction. It splits capacity into dedicated lanes for dual 4K monitors, Ethernet, and 100-watt charging, completely eliminating heat degradation. The new Thunderbolt 5 standard is entering the market, providing the overhead required for next-generation high-refresh 8K displays. However, Thunderbolt 5 currently carries a steep price premium that is unnecessary for 95% of users. Thunderbolt 4 remains the sweet spot for a stable, high-performance home office. Selecting a dock requires matching hardware bandwidth to your specific monitor requirements to prevent systemic instability. Moving from the desk to the room itself, we have to measure acoustic wellness. A minimalist space with hard floors and bare walls creates a harsh, highly reflective acoustic environment. The standard DIY approach to fixing this is retrofitting cheap synthetic foam panels onto the walls to deaden high-frequency echoes. That approach is visually disruptive and completely fails to block the deep, low-frequency reverberations that transmit between rooms and break your concentration. The 2026 premium standard utilizes biophilic acoustic panels. Manufacturers are integrating natural fibers like wool, wood, and porous mushroom leather directly into architectural installations. These biophilic materials manage room reverberation while introducing calming organic textures, a combination that actively lowers psychological stress levels. This scorecard shows the noise reduction coefficient, which grades sound absorption. A low score means waves bounce off violently, while a high score captures them. Look at this gap. Premium natural fibers achieve significantly higher NRC ratings than standard drywall or budget synthetic foam. At the absolute high end of acoustic design, we now have smart IoT acoustic systems. These use sensors to monitor ambient room noise and automatically adjust active sound masking frequencies in real time. The trade-off is that these smart systems require significant IT complexity and expense. They are strictly suited for large corporate open offices, rather than a solo remote worker. Premium acoustic design has evolved into a proactive integration of sound management and aesthetics that preserves mental bandwidth. Eliminating the invisible tax of poor infrastructure requires you to objectively identify your specific workspace archetype. This is the 2026 Hybrid Office Matrix. It maps your daily friction by plotting device load on the y-axis against acoustic needs on the x-axis. If you have low data needs and a private space, you fit the budget optimizer profile. Your data solution is simple: save capital. Stick with reliable USB-C hubs for a single monitor. For acoustics, skip expensive panels and focus on soft furnishings like thick rugs for dampening. If you require heavy data processing and deep focus, you are a power user. Upgrading to a Thunderbolt 4 dock is mandatory to eliminate heat throttling. For acoustics, invest in modular Biophilic panels to protect your cognitive load. Finally, we have the Hybrid Fleet Manager, the profile responsible for scaling these exact solutions across an entire enterprise. This requires executing managed hardware rollouts and implementing silent architecture principles from the initial conceptual phase of the building's design. True productivity in 2026 is achieved by treating your ears and your data pipelines with the exact same design respect as your eyes.